Today is Sunday, the 26th of April 2020. I'm Alison and welcome to my fifth Stripping the Willow vlog. Today I'm going to join the conversation around schooling from home. I'm not currently teaching in the classroom at the moment and I no longer have school-aged children, but it's been interesting to chat with friends who are either teachers or mums at home teaching, and just to hear about the challenges and the good things about this schooling situation. Before I go on, I want to say, I'm applauding you mums and dads out there who have found yourself in this role unexpectedly and are giving it your best shot. Good on you. And today, in sharing this vlog, I want to, make really clear that I'm not coming to you saying I'm an amazing educational expert. But because I've had some years in the classroom and I've also had some years teaching my children at home, there's a few things that I found helpful as I did that. So I'm just joining in the conversation, hoping that in the mix of everything, there might be something there that someone can grab and help them in this journey. I'm hearing a bit of, help. I'm not a teacher, I'm not qualified to do this, and the concerns around that, and fair enough. But what I'm hoping to do today is just help you to perhaps take on a little bit of a teacher mindset, so that you know the sort of things you can be looking out for and the things that you can be asking yourself as you go about working with your children. Now, with teaching, there's both what to teach and how to teach. And it's great at the moment that the teachers at the school have already worked out what to teach, and that's been given to you and your child. So your job now, isn't it, to actually come along and to help them learn? And I would encourage you to think, how can I actually help them learn to become a better learner? This is a little window of time where your kids can get some one-to-one assistance that they wouldn't perhaps be getting, if they were in school. So see yourself as that coach, a coach at a sports match. Picture them. They're energetic. I know you may not have that energy every day, but they are there present, aren't they? And they bring the team together. And I think that's key at the moment for your child, that they know that you're in this together, that it's a us, whether it's just you and your child, a two-person team, or whether it's 3 or 4 around the table. It's not you against them. You're in this together. Also, they cheer the loudest, probably the coaches too. And as a parent, you're a step ahead with being your child's biggest fan club. You encourage them, give them feedback. Not just fluffy feedback, but you did that really well and why it was done so well, that sort of thing. And coaches are also probably the biggest critics too, aren't they? They're looking out for things that could be done better and to refine them and strengthen them. So that's your job too. You sort of look on and think, that work habit or that attitude could probably be fine-tuned or tweaked a bit to help my child become better at learning and ultimately better at whatever they're doing in their lives in the future. I think celebration's a big part of being a coach too. You may not have a song to sing at the end of the day, but I think it's really important at the end of the day to assess how you've gone. Let's say, okay, how did we go today? We give ourselves perhaps a 7 out of 10. We did most of our work and we didn't get too grumpy with each other. Yeah, let's give ourselves a 7. Or if it was a really bad day, okay, well, tomorrow we could probably see if we can go from a 4 back up to a 7. We did have some issues, didn't we? Close the day, recognise you're in it together, and you're going to start again together in the morning. Another mindset that I found helpful, worthwhile, was that of thinking of yourself as an employer and what you would like to see in people that you employ. So obviously, as your child's doing their work, think about them and how they're approaching that. Their attitude towards it. Are they going to do what they've been asked to do? Are they going to rush through it, or is it going to take way too long? How do they treat those in authority? How do they treat their colleagues around them? So it's both their work and how they're going about that employees need to think about. So as an employer, think about what you would appreciate and what you would be willing to pay someone for doing, and just try and think of your kids 15 years down the track, and if they were working like that in their job, would they be considered a good employee? In all that, we're obviously not expecting perfection in our kids overnight, And it's a lifetime process, isn't it, developing a lot of those skills and attitudes. But I thought I'd just give a quick few examples to better explain what I'm meaning. Because that's another question that I often ask myself as a parent or teacher is, how can I explain this rather than just say it? So let's say you've got a child who is really keen to get started on their work, but they're very motivated, but they want to just get this done, tick it off so they can go on to something else. Now that's a great quality, sort of to get in and get going, and I'd applaud that. But over time, you've perhaps noticed in the last few weeks that while they get in and start well, they tend to be a bit rushed and miss details and get a few things wrong. But they're not too concerned about that because it's done. So, for that child, it's obvious we need to help them to perhaps slow down a little bit and realise that paying attention to detail is important. So, we can tell them that, but I like to think of creative ways to demonstrate that. So this is just a suggestion is, perhaps one night when you go to cook tea, think, well, I'll do a slapdash tea and just see this child's response. So, you don't bother cooking the meat, you decide just to cook the veggies, and you just happen to burn some of the veggies. So you rock up at the tea table and you put down the meals and you say, oh, look, I'm really sorry, I couldn't be bothered cooking the meat tonight, and I'm sorry that some of your veggies are burnt, but eat up, let's have tea. And obviously you're probably going to get a yuck, I don't want to eat that, or why can't we have this sort of response. But in that, I hopefully that the child learns that there's a certain standard and that people appreciate and that's expected in the things that we do. So even though the child may not, at this point in time, when they're doing their activity sheet or whatever for school, really appreciate the value of that, hopefully as they grow and end up down the track in a job, they can translate that. I should be working to a certain standard, that's important. Or another quick example is if a child was working really slow to get off the mark and taking twice as long as they needed to, probably doing a good job, but it's one of those children that you need to motivate to work more quickly. Sometimes if you're nagging, I know I found if I nagged and you need to work faster, it doesn't end up being very productive. But I find sometimes verbalising and just saying some things can be helpful, like, I was really looking forward to that walk that we're going to go on when you finish this. But I'm starting to feel a bit worried that the walk's going to be really short because this is taking much longer than we hoped. So I feel like it's another way just to place those thoughts in their mind and hopefully for them to take on that sort of thinking too. And it just removes that this is your fault that we're not getting a good walk, that it gives them power over it. Oh, if I hurry, we can actually have a better walk. So just thought I'd put it out there. Often expressing that is an effective way to go about it. Now we want to avoid frustrations, don't we? So expectations are really important. Firstly, that you make them really clear. For example, at the start of the day saying, I'm expecting that we're going to get through all the work today that your teacher's set. We'll do this before lunch, this after lunch, as well as the level of expectation. To put expectations on a child that are too low, you'll end up with a bored child, disruptive child, or if you put them too high, a child that might give up and feel like I can't actually get there, so I won't bother trying. So there's a bit of a skill in that, working out where to put their expectations, but I'm sure that you will feel that you've probably already worked out what are your strong subjects for your kids and what ones do they need that extra bit of help. So if you come at each subject according to that, either saying, saw what a fantastic job you did of your maths program yesterday, I know that you'll be good today on that, and let me know when you finish, or I saw that you struggled yesterday with that writing exercise. What was it? Was it getting going that was hard, or just communicate to them, okay, I'm going to give you a bit of help. I realised that was a bit more challenging for you. I'd be asking yourself, what motivates my child? And here you are a step ahead. As a parent, you know your kids inside out, you know their strengths, their personalities, their weaknesses, all those things. You know what are going to be carrots for them, you know what are things that you can take away to motivate them. And let's be honest, we all need a bit of motivation. We need a bit of rewarding. I like the motto, work hard, play hard, and particularly for kids who are finding something a bit boring or hard going, put those carrots in front of them, help them to get through what they need to do. The fun factor in teaching is really important. You want to make your home an enjoyable place to be, to learn. So I often think the start and end of the day is a good place to pop that in. So depending on the age of your kids, start the day with something fun, enjoyable. Might be reading a story, might be playing a game, it might be sharing a joke or a meme or whatever according to your kid's age. But it's a great way to start the day. You do something fun together and say, okay, now let's go on and do our schoolwork. It doesn't have to be very long at all. And I would suggest at the end of the day is good too. You may have had a particularly hard day, knocked heads or struggled with something, but if you just finish by saying, oh, let's have a story together or let's play that game, it just brings you together in a positive way at the end of the day as you finish off the school day and go and do your other things. The last thing I would say that you need to keep in the front of your mind is your relationship with the child is one of the most important things that you're wanting to protect through this time. Let's face it, it's an intense time. You're in each other's pocket day in, day out. And obviously you're going to have your own behaviour management strategies, but because there are going to be times when you come head to head, let's face it. So that's a whole nother topic and I'm not going to go there today, but one thing I just wanted to throw in that I did find helpful is just verbalising the situation. So say you're having one of those times when your little child is there refusing to do the work that they've been given, you're just getting angrier and angrier, they're not getting the work done. And so you may get to a point that day and you think, we're just going to leave this is just not going well. But in doing so, I think it's important that the child gets your perspective. So I think you need to just say, or you can, I'm just suggesting you say, this is not going well, is it? The teacher's given you the work. I've asked you to do it. You're not doing it. You're not getting it finished. You won't have the work to show the teacher. I'm getting angry. It's not going well. So if you make the call, look, let's let this go today. Also give them your thoughts for tomorrow. Tomorrow, when we come to do your work, we're going to have to work on this. We're going to have to work out a way that you can get your work done so you have it to show your teacher, and in a way that I won't have to keep nagging and that I don't get angry and grumpy. So when you need to make the final call as a parent. We're letting this go because I've decided to. Another thing that I think is really important in protecting your relationship is thinking about how you love your kids. And I was reminded recently of a book written by Dr. Gary Chapman called The 5 Love Languages, and he basically goes through different ways that we show love to each other. They include our words, what we say and write. They include physical affection, our touch. They include gifts. They include quality time we spend with other people, and also acts of service, things we do for other people. And he suggests in the book that we have a preference, that there is one or two ways that particularly are meaningful for us, that we feel really loved when we're given love in that way. And so, I just encourage you with your kids through this time, be on the lookout for what might be their love language. And generally you see it because that's the way they like to show love to others. So if you have a child that's constantly wanting to snuggle with you and hop on their knees, physical affection is really important. Or that child who loves to pick you the flower or make you a little something, gift giving. And if you can identify that, it can be really helpful in those times when perhaps the day's gone a bit haywire, everyone's busy, we're all a bit frazzled. You stop and think, is my kid feeling loved at this point? What's something I can do, particularly today, to make them feel loved? So if it is affection, the big hugs, or if it's a little gift that you go and, make them something or whatever it is. But protect that relationship, and that's obviously just one simple way that you can be keeping their love tank full, so to speak. I'm going to finish there. Hope you have a great week. Don't forget to ask for help, and a little plug for your teachers. Don't forget to thank them, and remember that they're on a learning curve too through all this, as we all are. So happy learning and have fun. Bye.